How does a controlled environment affect the meaning of our self concept slash esteem? This is a question that I have been pondering for quite some time and my own perception of self. It is difficult to say that we have truly been isolated like Tom Hanks in Castaway, but COVID has affected all of us and not in a good way. Self esteem plays a large part in our lives and is important for us to form relationships, meeting new people, or taking risks. Mental health regarding self esteem has often been overlooked and has not been done in order to address these things. People with self esteem issues are often called drama queens or attention seekers because of them being isolated and put into situations which they would rather be with themselves and face uncomfortable moments than socializing and gaining confidence. Would like to about to the infinite regress cycle of good thoughts and bad thoughts and create a pattern of either progression or destruction of self. Also, I would like to understand and put the focus on how to remove bad thoughts and bad self esteem, though alternative methods. Self esteem is an important part of us, and it is right to understand the process of it and break the cycles to progress through the life. During the pandemic, millions were confined to their households with their families, and the same people for months on end could put a strain on friendships, destroy families, and create unnecessary thoughts that can cause self harm and abuse. The article psychological consequences of social isolation during COVID-19 outbreak goes on to talk about how people during this time suffer from anxiety, obsessive compulsive disorder, and dread. Aristotle put humans as social animals, which means people are not meant to be alone for long periods of time and require affection, trust, and each other to survive in this harsh world. In this article, there seems to be a correlation between loneliness and isolation as both lead to each other in a cycle. Loneliness leads to isolation, and isolation leads to loneliness. One of the ways I coped during the pandemic was running. I was in my senior year of high school, which was the 2020-2021 school year, and so in August I decided to start running around my neighborhood just in case I were to go back into school and meet the people there. It was tough at first, but when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. And so every day after the first day was easier, and so running longer and longer, and I lost 40 pounds in 3 months and never felt better about it. A good way to prevent this from leading to depression and then to suicide is to remember that all isolation is temporary and things will eventually come back to normal. Bad thoughts are and good thoughts are inevitable. The human mind produces these thoughts through labels and self-perception of what they believe that they can and cannot do. Signs that a person suffers from self-esteem from this article, Self-Esteem and Mental Health, presents that being critical about yourself, being the butt of the joke, focusing on your errors rather than your achievements, and thinking you're worse than any other really takes a toll on the person's mental health. People that suffer from this usually on the side of social phobic, which difficulties making friends, have bad habits, and have bad perception of reality. Social phobia is a real thing and have been destroying people's lives every day because of it. Some people even turn into hermits because they feel as though that the same uncomfortable pattern of self-esteem issues will occur over and over again. It is through compassion and understanding where the person is coming from, knowing their background and taking some time to know them can break the self-esteem cycle. Though a person can achieve confidence in some areas due to their achievements, it will not actually solve their low self-esteem. What can be solved is through the concept of we. Good thoughts lead to good self-esteem and bad thoughts lead to bad self-esteem. This is a pattern that has been going on in the psychological community for a long time. Kind of chicken and an egg situation. Daniel Goleman, a psychologist, stated that good self-esteem comes from the good selflessness. As he put it, people that put we rather than me first have been better at high-end information processing, creative thinking, and better recognition of the self. It is by controlling their own thoughts that they put themselves at the moment and not taking into consideration other people's perceptions of their ideas or motives. They will have more artistic and psychological liberty, which means that they have a greater understanding of confidence and utilizes it into taking risks, and by doing so, not taking into account what other people think, which prevents them from having self-doubts or low self-esteem. This is how the cycle can be broken. When I work in teams, I see myself as both part of the group and myself simultaneously. The way I think it is that we all have our own roles to play, and when that occurs, I tend to be more confident in my ability to control myself and my thoughts. So in stressful situations in a group activity, I tend to be the very best that I can in order to create confidence not in just me, but in the group of people which in turn the group will create great sense of confidence, and it goes back and forth and builds up from there. Both regarding themselves as part of something bigger and believing themselves of having a great potential to do things, they in turn reject their own doubts. All in all, self esteem is part of our lives and there is no other way around it. Some people have generally harder times trying to control their concept and making either a good or bad decision in doing so. In these controlled environments, we humans are capable of creating an environment that puts ourselves with others through friendships or teams, creating a concept of we, and in turn decreases self doubt and increases confidence, which leads to higher self esteem.